Zippity doo dah, zippity a. Everything's satisfactual. Wokey dokey. Hello, everybody. This is the Mendo Money Mindset Show. I'm your humble host, Raymond Habel. This is 97.9 Willits, Hometown Radio. Hope you're all doing amazing and well. If you're listening to this at the time of recording, which I hope you are, it is 90 degrees. It's warm, it's hot. If you're over in the Philippines, where a good friend of mine is currently, it's typhoon season, where it's currently raining buckets. So even on our little side of this spinning blue dot, it's very different depending on who you ask. But considering this show, if you've never heard our show comes in 3 sections. And I'm very excited for this show. We've worked a lot towards it. This is going to be about real estate, about finances, and if you're anything like me, if you believe what I believe, if you think what I think, then you will agree that no amount of money on this wonderful green earth can get you happiness. We talk about happiness and mindset. If you don't know who I am, my name is Raymond Habel, lifelong resident of Mendocino County, a realtor for the past 6 years, and a constant enthusiast of self-improvement. We have a good show today. What we like to do every single month is talk about the Mendocino County market. We'll talk about all Mendocino County. We'll talk about real estate specifically. I don't know many things, and the few things I do know, I know well. Real estate happens to be one of them. We'll talk about the market, what's been going on, what we think may happen, which is a humble guess on my part, and what I am hearing from sellers and buyers behind the scenes. What can we see between the lines in this marketplace? To start this show right, we will jump into here. I will show, as much as I can through radio, all of these stats graphs. I will tell you about the metrics, the data. If you're anything like me, you love information. If you'd like to actually visually see this, we have a free report. Simply reach out to me directly. I'll be happy to get that your way. The first metric we like to look at is our for sale inventory. Now, as we look at these market reports, sometimes it's hard to compare months over months. It's hard to compare an October to a September to a January. What we like to do in this case is compare year over year. So that gives us a good apple-to-apple comparison on exactly what is going on in this marketplace from June of last year to June 2025. As we see the for sale active inventory, we currently have over 420 homes on the market. Amazing. This is a 30.4% jump year over year. We have 30% additional inventory, meaning more for sale signs than we did last year. Pending homes. Pending homes, if you've heard anything about it before, this is simply the escrow process between buying a home and you actually signing on the dotted line for an offer to it closing. These are a great leading indicator for us to show when homes will eventually sell, typically 30 days after it starts. Pending homes are up 24.5% year over year, with sold homes being up marginally at 2%. What does this mean? Well, let's continue. Next, we have price per square foot. The number one question I receive as a realtor is, Raymond, how much is my home worth? And without looking at your home and addressing the entire market on this wonderful show, there's not a lot I can do for you. What I can do is I can tell you the average sold price per square foot in Mendocino County as a whole, and we can look at that together. And we can see, is it on the uptrend? Is it on the downtrend? And what does it look like compared year over year? Currently, we're right around $383 per square foot per year. I should say this year right now as it sits. However, we are up 15% year over year. We're up 14% month over month. Days on market. Days on market are the metric which I personally love because this is very useful for me as a realtor, especially when I sit down with a client. We'll say, okay, what is your ideal timeline? When do you want to sell? And they say, well, here's the specific time frame. And then we have to back out of that and say, okay, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, it is going to take, on average right now, between 70 and 90 days for our county for us to be on the market to sell, on average. Now, looking at this data here, I can see generally what is the health of our market by one of these metrics being days on market. Looking into it, we see that average days on market, currently 77 days, are actually down 26.7% year over year. Amount of available inventory right now, do we have 100 homes on the market, 500, or 1,000? It also combines the metric of how quickly these homes sell every single month. From combining those two numbers, we can get what we like to call months of inventory. Another way I like to explain this is, if we had 100 homes on the market and we did not put another one on, we closed the doors, we said no one can sell their home after this, how many months would it take to sell all 100? That's what we like to call our months of inventory. We are currently at 8.3 months of inventory, which is a 27.9% increase year over year. So what does this mean? Well, for sellers, it's an amazing time to sell. The sun is out, buyers are looking to buy, days on market are down, while prices are up year over year. However, I want to say this, optimists beware. I'm speaking with a lot of sellers right now that are curious on the value of their home, probably getting prices from other sources, Zillows, Realtor.coms, and it might not reflect accurate pricing. And what is happening is buyers and sellers may be unrealistic in the pricing, and we start to see that when it comes to these homes effectively selling. So, optimist beware means do not overprice your home at this point. If our prices do continue to go down, if interest rates do continue to stay relatively the same, it would not behoove us to do what I like to call a needle in the haystack approach, a garage sale approach. If you've ever pulled a lamp out and you're selling it at a garage sale, you'll put a sticker on there that says $20. But you know, as you put it out there, someone comes up, brings it, that you'll really take 10. They say, I'll give you $5 for it. You say, no, give me 12. They say, 10. You say, great. That's what you call building negotiation room. In these case scenarios, the homes that we see that are continuously on the market for long periods of time, doing more price reductions than their competitors, are the ones that tried to build in this negotiating room. For real estate, it doesn't necessarily translate as it would a garage sale. So that's for sellers. For buyers, buyers do beware, price shop. Please, when you go and sit down with your lender, look at other rates. Go to other people, get other suggestions, shop multiple places to get the best interest rate for you. Understand there's something called rate buy downs, where you can buy down the interest rate for a certain amount of time. Understand that a good, competent lender that is on top of it will be able to give you a much better hassle-free experience than someone you may have found that can do it the cheapest or the lowest rate. So just keep that in mind. But with 420 homes currently on the market, buyers have more available options than over the past couple of years to pick homes. They have more options, opportunities, homes that have been on the market for a long period of time. This is a great opportunity for us to make offers in the buyer's best interest that work for them, and sellers, the ones that built in that garage sale negotiation pricing, may be more apt to work with these buyers. What are your thoughts? What's your takeaway? What information or aha moments did you have from this market? I will tell you personally, what I'm seeing people feel in this marketplace is a mixture of excitement and also unease. Excitement because we are seeing prices still holding. We are still seeing them go up year over year, although maybe not as 2021 or 2019. However, we see an overall sentiment of cautiousness. Am I going to make the right decision? Am I going to regret this 18 months from now? I'm talking with a lot of clients both buyers and sellers that are delaying this process because they're just not quite sure. That's what I'm seeing in the trenches, in the battlefield day to day when it comes to the real estate market. As long as you know your options, you have a competent person on your team, you have a clear exit strategy on what you're going to do post-sale, and you have a clear motivation to move you towards that, now might be the perfect time. But that's what I'm seeing. I hope that informs you. Next, I'd like to go to the finance section. Now, I got the question the other day, why do we do a finance section? Why do we have this in here? And I believe for multiple reasons. I want to leave this small blue dot a little bit better than when I left it. And if that means that we can learn how to use a tool better, just as we can a computer, just as we can a shovel, then I would implore, I would advocate, I would stress, I would get on my soapbox, and I would recommend ways we can use this tool better. Money is just a tool. I don't hear enough people talking about it. I've been lucky enough to stand on the shoulders of giants, meaning listening to people much smarter than me about money. And I've taken little tidbits here and there. Nothing I come up with is original. Everyone's already talked about it. I hope to be just a reminder. Maybe for you, you've never heard it in such a way that I've said it. But for everyone, including me, I want us to learn how to use these tools better. I hope that answers the question. So, even as we are in the middle of the year, we're going to do a mid-year checkup. We have a wonderful article here from Charles Schwab saying your mid-year money checkup. Feel free to pull it up if you want to read along with me. We're going to go through some steps on what you should do, according to this article, when it comes to doing your money checkup. Now, of course, this is for entertainment purposes. Please talk to someone much smarter than both of us on this matter. Step 1, update your spending plan. This is a wonderful opportunity for us to check in, do a pulse check on our finances, but more importantly, if our plane is off course, it allows us the opportunity to redirect this plane. Number 2, contribute to your company's retirement plan and attempt to maximize the match. This will basically say if you will put $1 in, I will put a certain amount in. Step 3 says pay down any non-deductible high interest rate debt. Think about the money you're saving as profit. Think about the credit card that maybe we have a balance on. If you were just to pay that off, could you make 12% on your money because you're saving that? You're fixing the leak in the bucket of your expenses. Step 4, create an emergency budget or increase it. Typically, it's recommended to have 3 to 6 months of personal expenses. If you have a business, it would be 3 to 6 months of business expenses on there. Should you increase that? It depends on your risk. Depends on how volatile you think your life situation is. Step 5, it says keep investing to build your wealth. Low-cost index funds, which is just putting it in. People like to do the S&P 500. They would like to invest in that. And typically, that's a very safe way, conservative way. It's sort of a no-brainer, 2-step decision you can make to say, okay, I at least am in the market, hedging my bets. I know someone that has Tesla right now. It's funny how politic Tesla now is. But those are the 5 steps. Investing to build your wealth, creating or increasing your emergency fund, pay down high interest rate debt, contribute to your company's retirement plan, matching, and update your spending. Which step did you think was the most important to you? One other article that I actually found, which is complimentary, but you will see some overlapping, is from Morgan Stanley. This says the mid-year financial planning checklist. We'll go through this one slightly more quickly. It says, number 1, review your portfolio. I would say this would also be under the vein of rebalance, but it depends when you rebalance your portfolio. If you do that once a year, maybe now's not the time. If you don't know what rebalancing a portfolio is, Google it. It's a wonderful idea, especially if you have any stocks. Number 2, it says check your retirement plan, as we've Chatted. Number 3, I like this one. Revisit your insurance needs. I had a 20-minute conversation with a client who owned a property in Ukiah that was paying $17,000 a year on fire insurance because we had what people in the industry have dubbed the California unfair plan. Do you have insurance needs right now? Have those changed? Has your child now gotten to drive their own car? Has there been certain areas of insurance you've been wanting to look into? Is life insurance now important to you? Visit your insurance needs while you're sort of sitting down, having the laptop open, talking with your partner, significant other, with yourself, and you have papers on the table and you're saying, okay, let me do a financial checklist. Just take me an evening. It might be worth cracking open and looking into. Are we insured enough? If you have homeowners insurance or fire insurance, are you covered enough? What are your deductibles like? If you have your car insurance, I know my car insurance just notified me the other day that policies were going up. Okay, well, does that increase my deductible? Does that do anything else to my coverage? What other plans are there that maybe are more competitive now because I'm in a higher price range? All great questions to ask. Number 4, it says, refresh your estate plan. I was just looking into holding LLCs and entities and all of this fun stuff. For me, this is what I listen to in the car, which I love, and I love to divulge that. It's funny. With that said, refresh your estate plan. Do you have a will? Do you have a trust? Do you have an LLC? Do you have the insurances in place? And all of those that you may or may not have, is now the time to start? Is now the time to increase that? Or is now the time to change that? Is there someone new in the family? I want to change it. Number 5, identify tax saving strategies. I love sitting down with my CPA. I have a small realtor business, so as a business owner, I like to be as nimble, as flexible, take off the write-offs I can, make sure I pay the IRS whatever is owed. But I'm always looking for new strategies. I'm always looking for new plays. I'm always looking for new laws that might help me as a small business owner. So June, July, that's a great mid-year time to take a time out. That's why people have half times. That's why there's breaks in the middle for us to do things like this. And those are the 5 steps on that one. Identify tax saving strategies, refresh your estate plan, revisit insurance needs, check on retirement, and review your portfolio. We've just given you 10 different ideas to go through and look through this process. And hopefully, by the time you end up in December, Jim Rohn has a wonderful saying. He says, 1 year from now, you will arrive at a place. It either is going to be a well-designed or an undesigned place. By right now setting our intentions on doing that pulse check, making the changes necessary, I hope, I knock on wood for you, I sincerely hope that by the time December comes, or by the time an event happens, as unfortunate as it is, you're ready. You're prepared. You planned for it. You worked for it. The last section, and I was thinking about this for a while, and I said, what is useful right now? For as much as I love telling you the ideas I have of the hour, for as much as I love telling you what I think about a certain thing, I really want to make sure you're taken care of. I want to make sure that you are looked after. And with that, I thought about this. What if the trajectory, the course I'm flying right now in my metaphorical plane of life, isn't going exactly to plan? What can I do to change it? And I want to give you a couple of ways that you can make progress in your life, possibly in your business, but 11 ways we can tactically actually make progress. There's this wonderful article here. It says Tracking Progress in Life and Business by Jotform. It says, number 1, break down the big tasks into tiny tasks. If you're trying to make a goal of earning $50,000 this year in your emergency fund, that's a big goal. That's a big, hairy, audacious goal. which is amazing. But what's the subtasks that you can do with that? Me, I personally love quarterly settings. I love setting new intentions for the quarter. And then from that, I love splitting it into months. And then from that, I love splitting into weeks. And from there, I try to bake in a little bit of things go sideways because they always do. And from there, I can have a tangibly close scorecard to make sure I'm on course. We've talked about things in this show like leading or lagging indicators, things that can help us stay on course, so that way by the time we arrive at our well-designed destination, we're exactly where we want to be. Number 2, it says track your time. This was an aha moment for me. I tracked my time several weeks. I've gotten back into it recently, and I've done it for 2 to 3 weeks in a row. Ironically, I'm not doing it right now. However, it is revealing. You want to know exactly how much you're actually goofing off and being unproductive? How much you think you're doing that you aren't? Track your time. Track your time while you're traveling. Track your time while you're hanging out with your family. Track your time while you're in your business. I have a section, so I have a spreadsheet for this. But I actually go down, it's 15-minute increments, or if I know something's going to take me 3 hours, just put in 3 hours. And from there, I will have my personal productive, I'll have my travel, I'll have my miscellaneous unproductive, that's mostly scrolling on my phone, and then I'll have my business. So personal, business, unproductive, productive, that covers pretty much it. Oh, and travel. Travel's a hard one to put in any one category. From those 5 categories, I can see exactly what I'm spending my time on, and I can see if that aligns with my priorities. It's very revealing. Number 3, I like this one. It says track your energy. It says, when do you feel most productive? When do you feel most energized? From there, just like tracking our time, we can then schedule things that might need the most attention. If you're anything like me, the times between 8 and noon, I'm my most creative, I'm my most awake, I'm still having the high of my coffee, and I'm ready to go. I'm creative, I'm nimble, I can pivot quickly. Anything in the afternoons, I feel tired, lethargic. Anything earlier than that, and I'm still not quite awake yet. Number 4 says, track your progress. This is fun. I love, we call this issue tracking now. I issue track for our business, and we track every single issue that's happened because we can eliminate 80% of those issues from ever happening again. So we can fix the process. This has been something I've been obsessed with recently. We can go through, track every single issue that happens in the business. Did we forget to reach out to someone? Did something unexpected pop up? Was there a thing that we failed to do? We put them in a little folder, and then we say, okay, how can we fix it? And it's usually a process issue, 8 out of 10 times. From there, we'll hopefully never have it again. But this one says, track your progress. It says, reviewing everything you've done to achieve your goals and to help you understand the mistakes you've made, challenges you've faced, lessons you've learned, and decisions you need to make. What if you just did that? What if for the next month, you just reviewed your progress? What did I do well? What did I learn? What were some of the things that I was looking into? Number 5, it says, journal. Journaling's a fun exercise. From there, you can think on paper. I like the art of thinking on paper because I can review it. I can look at it. I can understand it a little bit more. Number 6, it says practice gratitude. I like to think of gratitude as focusing our conscious on a certain area. If you think about it like this, think of a light in a dark room. And as you turn this light on, you can see certain things in the room, but you have to point at those things. That's the same way of our conscious awareness. There's so much stuff going on. You're driving a car, there's a million things happening that your brain does not pick up on. It only picks up on the few real things, the few important things that you need to focus on. Practicing gratitude allows us to manually maneuver this flashlight a little bit more, so you can begin to pick up on things that are actually doing well in the day. I have my little beautiful baby boy, and we will go, and every day we go to daycare, I'll hold his little hand and say, okay. And I point my finger at number 1 and I say, what are we today? And he's like, I'm very lucky. And I'll go through number 2. Great things always happen to me. Number 3, I'm very strong and kind. Number 4, I do not bully. And number 5, I do not let people bully me. I do this every single day with him. And that's because I want him to start focusing on looking for those opportunities. I do not want him to bully. I don't want him to be bullied. I want him to have the confidence to know that he's strong and kind. And I want him to think that he's very lucky. Number 7 says practice visualization. A lot of professional athletes do this. They'll focus on making the basket, shooting the basketball, throwing the football. Might be good for us too. Especially if you're nervous about something. Do you have a speech, a presentation you're going to do? Do you have a hard conversation to have? Visualize the best possible outcome. And at least from my experience, I've had a stressful moment. I think about, okay, let me visualize the best way it can go. Then I visualize the most possible situation. Was a little bit of good, a little bit of bad. And then I visualize the worst case situation. Because then I realize, actually, I'm not going to die. I'm going to be fine. It's going to be a hard conversation, but it won't be that bad. From there, I've had a mental rep on these possible outcomes. And I feel a little bit less nervous going into those. What did you think about that? I'm curious what your takeaways were on those 11 things. Practice visualization, practicing gratitude, journaling, tracking your progress, your energy, your time, and breaking down those big tasks. I'd like to go to one last one before we finish off today, and this is a wonderful article I found by Morning Coach. It says, how to make good progress in anything. It says, first, identify the reason for doing something. Oh, isn't that great? I just heard a podcast the other day, and they said the downside of setting arbitrary goals. And in there, they were talking about people just set goals because they think they should have those goals. I want $1 million. I want a family by this time. I want to be in this area. What's the reason? There's a fun exercise that you can do. It's called the 4 whys. It's like, well, okay, I want $100,000 in my bank account. Okay, why is that? Well, I want to have the freedom. I want to have the capacity to be able to cover expenses. Okay, well, why do you want to cover your expenses? Well, I want the freedom and security to know that I'll be okay. Even if I'm in a pinch, I'll have some runway. Okay, 4th why. Well, why is that? Well, because I don't want to be afraid. I don't want to be afraid of having the lights turn on us. I don't want to be in a fearful state where I run out of money. So maybe look at your goals. Look at things you're interested in right now, and then ask yourself the 4 whys. What's your reason? Why do you really want to do this? Maybe you have a very clear goal. I want to take care of my family. I want to retire my parents. I want to take care of my kids. I want to help my community. I want to help myself get out of this situation. All great goals. Number 2, again, this one says break down big goals into small goals. You'll see a theme here. And then it says deal with one thing at a time. I love this as number 3. Because if you're anything like me, I love trying to put as much stuff on my plate as possible, thinking I can just do everything. I got 6 goals at once. I got a big vision board of things I'm going to do. I'm going to do everything great today. Well, you can imagine how that goes. Focusing on one thing at once gives you the focus to be able to get that thing done as efficiently as possible. There's an exercise, a gentleman, I can't remember the name right now. He has an exercise where he gets up and he says, okay, there's no such thing as multitasking and I'll prove it. And he says, I want you to count through 1 through 10. 1, 2, 3, 4. And he says, okay, I want you to begin saying the alphabet. A, B, C, D. And he says, okay, now I want you to go from one number to one letter to one number. 1, A, B, 2, 3, C. And what you will notice if you actually put a timer on this, feel free to try it yourself, is you will take more time doing the multitasking than you would if you just quickly ran through 1 through 10 and then quickly went through A to Z. Why is that? because it's almost like a computer. We don't multitask. We just are quickly switching from task to task. And there's transition time. We're losing every time we go from 1 to B to 3 to C. What's that one thing? What's that one thing this week you could focus on that would make measurable progress, that you would feel good about? Number 4, as if we're teeing it up for this one, it says just get started. You've identified that one thing. You've identified why you want to do that one thing. You've broken that one thing down into actual tangible tasks. Just get started. The biggest crime to progress is perfection. Just do it. Even if you do it terribly, just do it. There's a fun thought process of you sitting on the fence. You've heard that before. People just sit on the fence. They don't realize that if they got off the fence and they were on the wrong side of the fence, they'll actually save time by just getting back on the fence and to the other side than they would if they continued to wait. Continue to wait until they saw the signs, continue to wait until the perfect thing happens, until the person they need came to their life, until the conditions were absolutely perfect. You're going to be waiting a long time. Just get started. Number 5, after you've gotten started, start writing down some progress. Write down these goals. It's funny how our brains like to omit the positive, focus on the negative, make sure we don't go back into the bush where the tiger was. That's how we're designed. Jot down your progress. I bet you in 3 months from now, when you look back at this progress, you'll be amazed about some of the details that you overcame, some of the aha moments you had, some of the progress you actually made that maybe you might not remember now. Number 6, again, create a journal. This is a physical place for you to put thoughts onto paper. Number 7, it says learn something new. Learning something new puts you in a growth mindset. Makes you sort of have an excitement towards life. I was looking up something the other day on a podcast and I was excited because it was something new. I had never heard it before. What's something new you could try? Is it a new hobby, new language? Is it a new attitude? Is it a new discipline? I just spoke with someone and had a conversation about hand placement. He had to physically learn where to put his hands during conversations. What's a new habit you could do? What's something you could try? Maybe you just want to go skydiving. Saw someone on Instagram, they're going to go skydiving this weekend. Hope it's not too hot. They'll have a nice breeze though. But what's your thoughts on that? From learning something new to having a journal, from writing down these goals and getting started to dealing with one thing at a time, finally getting these big goals into small goals, and identifying the reason you want to do something. Hope this was a good show. Hope you had many takeaways. I want to ask you this one last question, then we'll let you go. What's your one takeaway? Through all of the real estate data, through all of the mid-year financial checkup, through the number of ways you can make progress in your life right now, what's the one aha moment you had? What's the thing you'll take away and you'll implement this week? My name is Raymond Habel. You're listening to the Mendo Money Mindset Show. This is Willett's Hometown Radio, 97.9. Thanks so much and have a great day.